So one of the questions I get asked all the time is, well, can you make money in a blog, doing a blog? Well, just as Mike said when he was talking earlier, that you can't come to a meeting like this and expect to leave here necessarily with a new piece of business. It's an ongoing process. It's about developing relationships. Well, that's the same thing with a blog, okay? But there are people that have made money with their blogs. This happens to be one of them. Does anyone know who this fellow is? Right. Michael Arrington was in a law firm about 5 or 6 years ago and decided that he didn't want to be a lawyer anymore, didn't want to practice it full time, and basically quit or was fired. I think it's debatable what that was. But he left his law firm and he took a couple of years off and he worked out and he surfed. And when he came back after taking this time off, he realized that the technology space had really changed in that 2 years, and he wanted to start paying attention to it. So he started paying attention to it, and he started writing about it. He put up a blog. I think it was like 2002 or something like that. And in a number of years, maybe 2 or 3 times, his blog went from nothing to last year, actually in 2006, they were generating about $300,000 a month just from his blog. So now Mike is a very wealthy guy based on the fact that he was blogging. Now, the things that he was blogging about were the things that a lot of people online want to know about. It was a lot of tech startups. He started a thing called TechCrunch on the West Coast. So it was a very technology-focused blog. But that's where a lot of people online were interested in. This is his blog. I mean, it's nothing that sexy, but it's not so much what it looks at, but it's the information that's on there. So, you know, unlike a website where you say it's got to be really sexy and all this stuff, it's got to have good content. And it started developing word of mouth virally. People started talking about this, and I forget how many subscribers he's got. I think it's like 1.5 million per day or something like that. It's some phenomenal number. He was quoted as saying that he turned down an offer of $8 million last year to sell it, and people now say it was probably worth several times that.
He's making all that money off of the side ads?
That's a big part of it. I think he's got multiple sources. I think advertising tends to be one. I mean, if you have 1.5 million people, especially tech startups, coming to your blog, that's going to be very attractive to an advertiser to capture that market. So yes, that's one way that he's making a lot of money. He also started this whole TechCrunch, which is an annual event, I think, on the West Coast, where startups can present their business idea to venture capitalists. So he's got multiple sources of income, but it came out of this blog. Does anyone recognize this woman? Yes, Arianna Huffington. She, I think she may have the most popular blog. This is her blog, the Huffington Post. It's political. This is just from a couple of days ago. And a lot of people want to hear what she has to say. And one of the reasons they find her so interesting is that she's not working for a major network. So she's really not censored by the politics of the news channel that she's working for. And again, once again, she's got a voice. She's very savvy with media. She's created a lot of credibility for herself, and she's got the most popular blog on the internet, I believe. This is mine. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but this is a post from a couple of days ago. One of the questions, I found this this post came from an interview with Shel Israel, who is a leading blogger, and someone was asking him, well, blogs are great, but aren't they just for geeks? And he was saying no. And I just thought it was interesting information to share, because he was saying when you add up the number of people reading blogs, watching online video, and engaging in social networking, you probably have a number nearly equal to the number of people reading newspapers and watching TV. Now, that's a pretty impressive statement. For example, there are 125 downloads on YouTube for every New York Times paper sold. What an amazing fact.
Wow.
125 downloads on YouTube for every New York Times newspaper. Until a couple of months ago, Facebook was growing by 1 million users a week. I don't see a technological divide, I see a generational divide. Younger people are in the habit of using social media tools, and most older people are not. As the younger people age and replace my generation, their habits will not change, and this is what I was saying earlier. So I thought that was a very interesting post to share. And this is why I think if you plan to be in business for the next few years, you have to start paying attention to what is happening in the marketplace.